it is great to see absolutely everyone racing out here in College Park, Maryland at the Route 1 Rampage. This took place on Sunday, April 6, 2025, bright and early at 8 a.m. was the men's Cat 4, Cat 5 race, and this is what we're looking at right now. So this is towards the back end of the course, right here, where that corner that we just passed was probably the sketchiest corner of them all. The pavement was not the greatest. It was not fun to go into a speed bump, but it took a while to get used to it, and people started finally getting used to it probably like 4 or 5 laps into it. But it's one of those things where we all were super concentrated, trying to make sure that we're drafting off each other. Right off the bat, I am making sure that I'm staying up with everyone, because this crit is very notorious to just start stringing, and if you leave a gap open, it is tough to close those gaps. So that is one thing that I was making sure that I was eyeing, is that if someone in front of me was leaving a gap, I needed to recognize that quicker and just pass and put in that effort, put in those watts to make sure that I close that gap. Because again, those short sides, those 2 short sides, especially the one in the start finish, was tough because people were putting in a lot of watts, putting in a gap, and it started just stringing along as the time went by. And you can already see this is a straight line. We are just trying to be there close enough to take full advantage of that draft. So for me, this was actually one of the easiest turns to do. I felt very comfortable going into that turn every single time. But at this point, just to talk a little bit about who is all racing, we had a lot of racers here in this Cat 4, Cat 5 race. So the 2 teams that were most representative was our team, Route 1 Velo. It felt like it was a home race for us. We're based out of Riverdale, but we have people that live here in College Park, in Hyattsville, Riverdale, very close in the DC border and everything. So we had Bishmi Bradshaw, Trey Ottaway, Edwin Geraldo, Jeffrey Harner, and David Ramirez, myself. The second biggest team that we had represented was Getting It In Cyclists, GII. So we had Sylvester Palum, Jeremy Norris, Farad Hall, Tyrone Spady, and then the second biggest one was Bike Doctor with 2 racers, which we had Daryl Barnett and Carlos Marks. We had people coming up from Baltimore, Bed Hill Cycling. Big shout out to Anthony Bishansky, who came and raced over here with us. So that was a lot of fun. We did have some people from Artemis, Philip Suggs, District Taco. We had David Oriente, DMV Caribbeans. We had Emil Mendez. Equip Racing, we had Hilius. Goodfellas, we had Anthony. For Meta, we had Ethan. And then for Team La Sport, that I do not recognize, Kendall. And there was one more team, Antietam Velo Club, Garrett Churchy. So again, we had a few racers, or actually a lot of racers, probably like 10, that were not linked to a team, so racing independently. One of those we'll see later on, who was wearing a blue jersey, who helped out tremendously when things started not looking too good for myself. But here, my biggest focus was staying up there. I know that our team sprinter is Edwin. Edwin can put in a lot of watts. So making sure that we could stay together as closely as we could would be huge. This race was way different than Trade Zone, which is brought to you by Bike Doctors, because Trade Zone really just has 3 turns. It's longer. It's not one that strings along as much. This one is really just because, again, of these short corners where it starts getting strung along. And right here, you're seeing that this gap, again, it doesn't look that bad, but it is because I'm having to put in an extra effort using up little matches here and there to make sure that I bridge up, come here and rest, quote unquote, because again, all these guys that I know are very, very strong. I know Carlos is very strong. I know Daryl is very strong. Anthony, Edwin. Again, Edwin's my teammate. I'm there to help and support him. But these are the things that, again, we need to make sure that we are there. And again, at this category, at least our team, we are trying to become better at doing better team efforts, coming up with a plan and everything, and trying to execute it as the race goes. It is a little bit tough because some of us it's relatively new. We're trying to learn and try to do the best that we can. But here, I'm always keeping an eye on Edwin and where he is at. I know he's not wearing our blue jersey. He's wearing our white jersey. His new jersey is coming in very, very soon with our new order and everything. But again, these are the things that I'm just keeping an eye out, is that I am in a good position to help out the team as best as I can. So again, trying to take that corner way better. It did take me a few laps to feel comfortable with it and just really trusting the grip. I think what made it hard too for everyone, and maybe why some people didn't sign up for other of the races that were happening that day, was because of the forecast. It's supposed to rain and everything. Luckily for us, it didn't rain. It was pretty dry, but so in the back of your mind, you're keeping that, and there's a small puddle to the left side going into, where again, I'm avoiding my tires. Am I going to slip in the pain of that speed bump and everything? So again, just things that you start to worry about. You start thinking, you start looking at other people and seeing who's comfortable taking those corners, who's not comfortable taking those corners. And if you don't feel comfortable, you're trying to pass them and everything. So again, just one of those things, those stressful moments sometimes of racing, that just starts, you're so focused on so many things, just like when you're driving and everything. It's not that you're worried about yourself. You're just looking at the obstacle of the things that are on the course that could be problematic and everything. And again, just those little things of how people are reacting, who's looking strong, who's not looking the strongest, who might be putting in a gap right now. And we just need to make, or I need to make sure at this point that, again, this is a course that was very notorious at the 8-corner crit, the figure 8. If there was a little gap, that gap was going to grow, and there was no coming back from that. So in this one, I started noticing going into this turn, oh, there is a gap in the middle of these. I need to make sure that I'm closing this up. Putting 450 watts there. I turned and looked, and I knew Trey was coming to my right-hand side, so I made sure to go right at the same time, so I was being as efficient as possible, and then rotating right there, because I knew that Trey had to put in maybe 600 watts, and I can just help out a little bit right there with him being able to draft off of me. This was the person that I was talking about in the blue jersey. Did a tremendous job. You'll see him later down the road and everything like that as the race develops and everything. But these are the little gaps again. 400 watts, 350. Trey notices this and he passes by me again on the left hand side, or he is trying to pass me on my right hand side, sorry. So again, just closing that gap. Luckily people slowed down there, and I think some of the reason why people slowed down here, or at least for me, is it was hard to judge where the turn was because everything looked very similar. Instead, when you are going up this straightaway, this long straightaway, not this one, but after we take this turn, and here, this is a boo-boo on mine. I was trying to drink water, and I got very, very close to Daryl. I know the person behind me, I don't know if that was Anthony or not, yelled, like, stay focused, heads up. Yes, completely agree. Because sometimes you just lose that focus for a quarter of a second, and that's enough to, again, cause an accident, get scraped up and everything. Here, there's some attacks. Carlos is the one that I hear on the left-hand side. You can see him on the top left who starts sprinting off. He called up, because he noticed that someone was going to do an attack. Just sounded an alarm, and 4 or 5 people reacted, one of them being Edwin, who reacted brilliantly there. Was able to be basically second wheel, fourth wheel, as I can see right now. And I'm there. I'm there with the lead group. And that, for me, is the most important part. I need to make sure that I'm there for my teammate and my other teammates as well, to maybe close gaps, make efforts if needed. I'm there for their disposal. And hey, if I can do a great job too and come top 5, top 3, that's awesome too. But at this point, it was really just focusing on position for me. And again, there's that puddle that I was talking about. That was, again, it just it didn't make you feel comfortable going into that corner with all those bumps, all those grooves, and then you have a speed bump. And again, other people not feeling as comfortable as you does not help. It makes it sketchier. But again, at this point, everything is nice, easy for now. Only really one hard attack, but we are coming up, and I can see at one point as I'm looking at this footage, I thought there was people ahead. It's not people ahead. I'm pretty sure we are coming on to lapping some people. So again, going into almost 12 minutes and a half of racing, we are already going to lap 3 people right here. Luckily, it wasn't in this tight corner. This short straightaway for me was probably one of the hardest ones, because people were really accelerating into, out of this straightaway, and then back into this corner and putting in some watts right here. And then midway through, a quarter way through, would kind of slow it down a little bit. But that was one where, again, just matches here and there, just burning them up. Here, just taking advantage that easy overtaking, which I wish I would have done maybe a little bit more. Again, really my biggest thing is going into this turn, and that one was okay. 23 miles an hour, not too bad. I think the fastest I took that one in that race was maybe 24, 25 miles an hour. This one going in 25 miles an hour. Everyone really doing a brilliant job. Me hitting that manhole right on. Great, perfect. But this whole time, it's really just focusing on positioning. I try not to look back as much at this point, because I knew I was in a good spot. I didn't really feel anyone near me going into those turns. And again, once now 14 minutes into the race, I feel comfortable with every single corner except for that last one. Just again, you just never know. But being able to move up right here and making sure that I am up there with people that I know are strong. Again, I know Edwin's right there on the left-hand side with his BMC. Anthony's right next to him. Carlos is right ahead. Daryl is to my left. I know these 4 very, very well, just because we race every other weekend together. So it's important to identify those people, know that, and just try to stay to their wheels to the best of my ability right now, because the legs felt strong, lungs felt strong. That this week going into it, I wanted to do pulling house, which was the day before, but the reality was my legs were tired, my legs were shot. On Tuesday when I did our Route 1 Velo Scorcher, it was one of those where my legs were just done. They did not want to go any higher than 400 watts, and that was it, period. Nothing else is happening. Here we keep lapping more people. I feel like this one was a little bit scarier just because that guy opened up a little bit too wide when we were going in there. So luckily District Taco had his head up, making sure that he was cautious with that. David Orientes, so I know he was leading into that turn. And you can see David moving towards the right, just trying to not be in the front. So again, one person that I know that's very, very strong, Daryl, he goes to the left side of me. I had glanced over, I heard him, spotted him, and I tried to keep his wheel as long as I could just to be up there and be next to Edwin. For me, being close to my teammate is very, very important. So again, being able there to be able to react to anything over there and help him out would be huge. And here, good positioning, just focus on that is important. We're now really up front. I think that's the meta person on the right that's attacking. So who's up there? Carlos, Daryl, Anthony, Edwin is right in front of me. We're going into this right turn. This Team MS, I don't know his name, and my apologies for that. I know we spoke after the race and everything. Can't remember right now, but here's where, again, they're putting attacks right there, and I'm trying to stay with them. But they're just going hard. I wish I would have stand up and maybe done a bigger effort, but I was trying to stay steady, like my very, very good friend, teammate, shout out to Ernesto Aviles, who watched this footage before and gave me props for just being steady, not trying to overcook things. Again, right there, passing people in those short turns is just scary. But again, Ernesto had told me, hey, you did a good job at trying to stay steady. Here's where this big part happens. There is a crash. Unfortunately, that guy went down. He went down hard because he stays down there for a while. This is where a big gap opens up because they had been attacking, remember, from that start finish line, and they had opened up a small gap. Now, because of that crash, look at this gap, how big it has become. I'm making sure to stay on a draft to save energy. I'm seeing that they are strong, and I'm going to motivate everyone because, again, I know how hard this is going to be to bring this back. I mean, they are easily 7 seconds ahead. Easily 7 seconds ahead. Right there, Trey passes me on the right. I wish Trey would have given me a heads up. So I would have followed him and just known to be quicker to react. But at that point, I knew that there was no point in me going after him and wasting energy. Let me just try to be, again, like Ernesto said, staying steady was very, very key and important, and I was keeping that in my mind because, again, I know I can keep things steady and hard. It's just that explosiveness, it's costing me a little bit right now. And again, I feel bad that that guy crashed. I hope he's doing way, way better. My goal right now is to stay focused on each person that's ahead, close every single gap, and if they are strong, I'm going to stay on their wheel and I'm going to rotate. I'm going to work with them. I yell out to them, I'm going to work with them, whoever it is. There'll be multiple occasions of this, again, because I want us to be able to try to catch that group. So I'm going to push and push and push, motivate people. If they go with me, great. If they don't go with me, well, hey, it's going to be as much of an effort as I can, but there is nothing that is going to stop me from trying to reach this lead group. So again, trying to draft off his Trey as much as possible. Look, 420 watts.
I got you, Trey. Let's work together.
And right there, I got you, Trey. Let's work together. It's just key to keep everybody motivated, and especially knowing my teammate right there, like, Trey, I got your back. I'm going to work for you. I'm going to help you out. We're going to get back into this race. I knew we could. There was just something about that whole week. I was listening to a song, Put It On, and by Jeezy, and it was just one of those things that it just kept going on repeat. I don't know if it was because it was one of those things that it felt like a home race for me, being in our backyard. Us helping out Route 1 Velo, our team helping out multiple locations on this race, as well with volunteers, with money, with our race director, Pete, as well. So it's something that I wanted to help out and make sure that I did not quit. And this guy right here with the Cervelo that I said, the blue jersey, does a great job. He is working hard. He is pushing hard. And there were times where I thought I could pass him, and I would, or I couldn't, because here, again, I'm putting in 400 watts to try to pass him and try to do put in an effort, but it's tough for me to pass him. He's just doing an awesome job. Look, I'm in his draft doing 250 watts. So again, later on, I'll do my rotation and everything, but those are the things that I keep telling them as we keep going, to motivate and push each other and really help each other out. I know there is one person right there behind me with the white jersey. He had a Little Trek bib on. I know he's from Baltimore, if I recall. That's what Anthony had told me. But again, this guy with the blue jersey and Cervelo bike doing an awesome job. Trey over here gets some crazy energy. Luckily, I hear him. The guy, Little Trek, goes, and I'm right behind him, making sure that I'm drafting. And you can see the difference going behind them in the draft. I was at 108 watts at one point. Again, we're going into this corner, so I stop pedaling, go in, pedal. But again, Cervelo just doing an awesome job. Just
come on, guys, let's rotate it. We can catch him.
See, and I'm yelling right there. We can catch him. Rotate. We can catch him. We see him, and one of
come on, Van Hill, help us out. We can catch him. There you go. With them, Trey.
Just trying to do everything that I can to just make sure that we can catch these guys, because there's not that many laps left. And we are strong. We are really strong. Putting in these watts of 300 plus and holding it, I know we can do it. I know Tyrone, if I can see, is behind me. He's trying to bridge that gap as well, because he got caught up in that crash. But here it's one line, rotating, really determined to catch them. So as I was saying, one of our teammates, Rajes, he had yelled out in the previous lap, we are
great job,
4
Trey.
or 5 seconds
Great job, bud.
But we catch him. And I even say there, great job, we caught him. I knew we could. And it's incredible. Like, you just get a third wave of just like adrenaline.
Let's go, come on,
So I tell Trey to come with me because I see that everyone's like just soft pedaling, and I go Rigo Saur, just run, and just try to build the gap. Just let's go, let's go, let's go. So again, putting in 500, 600 watts into that corner, making sure that I was the person going in first, and taking in that second corner right there. To me, winning those was huge because I knew I was going to help out my teammates, Edwin and Trey. I start going to the right-hand side to try to get a glance to see where Edwin is, making sure that he's there, trying to see where Trey's at. I wish Trey would have been able to come with me. It was tough because he had put a lot of watts to make sure that we were there. David from District Taco is letting me know that I had the clear from him to take that corner in first. This person, though, goes into the left or to the right-hand side of me, trying to go into the inside. But I beat him to that corner. We are racing race to race, or racing neck to neck. Going into this last lap, you heard the bells ringing, so we are going full speed now. I'm trying to go my hardest, 300, 400 watts, and my watts are going down, and they're going down quick. And everyone behind me has fresher legs than I do because they didn't have to try to catch up to me. Or I didn't have to try to catch up to the lead group for like 7, 8 laps. And here they are. And Edwin notices immediately that David puts down a hard attack. Carlos goes as well. Daryl, Anthony on the right. So, again, the people that I know that are very, very strong that I've raced with a while, they are on it. They are making sure. Now we only have half a lap left. Trey is right in front of me. In my mind, I'm just trying to stick as long as I can in case I can do maybe another small attack to just help, or help Trey get closer to that, to the lead. But my legs are cooked right now. 178 beats per minute, 400 watts, 420 watts. And again, I'm just trying to hold. Velo just passes by me, and Tyrone, that I didn't know was behind me at this point anymore, I thought he was up there, just breezes by me. I'm going 390 watts, and he just puts out 500 watts and just passes by me. Going into the last corner, unfortunately, Carlos, Daryl, Anthony get into a big crash. I hope they're all okay. Right here, we got second place for Edwin Geraldo, which we are super pumped about. Anthony comes in third. And then we have Trey coming in 5th place, David coming in 4th place from District Taco, and Meta coming in 1st place. But congratulations to Route 1 Velo, to our team. What an incredible job. Edwin, Trey, myself, and Bishme. It was awesome, awesome racing again here at Route 1 Rampage. And soon to come will be the Masters race.
There you go. Woo.
Let's go, let's go.
Hands up for the podium.
Yeah.